Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are rejoining the Venera 17, which I'm really glad I decided to check on after recording the last episode, because it was that I swear that's not where we left it. I swear it. But I have set up a maneuver node to bring it in as equatorially as I think is manageable, although we can probably touch that up just a bit. I'm not entirely sure what equatorial means, but I think if we look straight down at the planet and we see us crossing over the day to night terminator, it's probably pretty good. And at an altitude of 3.8, yeah, 3.8 million meters, we can actually bump that out just a little bit. Let's lock that open just to take a look. Somewhere between 4 at a maximum of 5 is what we were shooting for, but we need to make this correction. So we should have a torque wheel installed. We do. To get ourselves angled into the node, let's turn SAS on. It's going to take 163 seconds for SAS to come back online. Let's make sure Flight Computer got that command, shall we? It did. We'll lock in here. We're probably going to execute this on RCS a little sooner than normal. The liquid oxygen and kerosene has been drained from our Block V stage, not to be confused with Block 5. Again, this mission was built for us by Polaris Red Star. I did not make this thing. It is far too pretty and far too awesome looking to be anything that I have ever made, ever. We'll toggle RCS to ARM because we're going to need it to make this correction. It's going to be another couple of minutes to do that also, but at least SAS is holding us still. And it is coming online 20 seconds from now, you know, whichever. Anyway, so we'll make this correction. We'll get ourselves on course. Please don't decide to do anything wonky. 58 meters per second. Don't know if we have the fuel for that or not. Yeah, this the Block V was built specifically with a lot of RCS fuel just for this specific purpose. We actually, considering how much fuel was in there that I didn't already know. I mean, that's 20 liters in each of those tanks, so an extra 40 liters, plus this little bit that we have. I mean, that was 2 liters, and that amounted for all of our correction before that. Awesome, good. It has switched over and started using the other fuel. We're probably going to use that to start our capture maneuver. We do have a trunk stage before we get to the satellite proper. RCS to disarm. Kill that node. That looks pretty good. I'll take it. 4.28. It's going to be a little bit of a narrow band. Oh, wow. And we burn next to nothing. I really wonder how much fuel we have left in that stage. That is awesome. And so just to verify that we are still on course. Oh, come on. No, 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 no. I did not hit warp to here. Wow. Where did my node go? Why is it way out here? I've got to be... Oh, God, I hate that function. God, stupid. We're not too far from our encounter now. Please tell me I didn't miss any other nodes. 25 days away from when our initial one was. Add maneuver. Okay, let's redo everything we just did. Why? How? Unbelievable. That's not how physics works, KSP. We don't get to just magically change telemetry because I accidentally hit a warp to here button. And thank God it didn't actually warp to here. wonder how bad the telemetry on the rest of our spacecraft is going then, considering things like to just magically not be a thing anymore. Let's bring this out of physics warp and correct into the node. I know we're 6 hours away from it. I mean, it worked the last time I did this exact same maneuver before KSP decided to negate Newton. Alright, I'll take that. Let's add maneuver, not warp to here. Let's see what it's going to take to circularize. 4.77, 2,888.6 meters per second. Well within tolerance. Thank God. 23 days from now, let's set that alarm. Add alarm. Let's give it 25 minutes of lead. Add. There we go. Pretty sure I got that one squared away. Horizons comes in 27 days, 7 hours. That's 27. No, that is a correction to bring down our periapsis for sure. I shouldn't need a whole lot of lead time on that because I just need to unlock the fuel. I don't know exactly when Horizons needs its correction, but we should probably go take a visit near Horizons. Jump to ship. I don't particularly need you, alternate resource panel. You've been quite a useless mod. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here and how screwed up our telemetry has gotten. Yeah, that looks good. I'm glad. What the hell is going on here? No, do not warp here. Focus view. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay, that actually comes in okay to okay-ish, and then there is a correction not quite near apoapsis to make it a thing. So let's actually scrub both of these and see if... So that periapsis looks almost equatorial. It really does. Trick is to line up an orbit across that line. It looks like it's only a degree or two off. So let's find one where we can actually gauge stuff and see the thingy. That doesn't do me a whole lot of good. But I think correcting in is what we need. That should raise the periapsis a bit. See, it looked like it should have been, but it wasn't. So 8.2 add maneuver. Because we would like this to be, since it's a comm network, we would like its orbit to be as equatorial as possible. There is capture. Let's bring up Mech Jeb, maneuver planner, to change inclination to 0. With the highest equatorial after the last maneuver node, create node. Yeah, see, it's way down there. Still only 300 meters per second. I think we can manage that considering everything else, but I really would have liked that apoapsis to be way down there, which means the periapsis needs to come way the hell up. So let's scrub that node and see what we can't suss out. Well, we got it down to 268 meters per second to change for our plane change. 261. I think that's as good as we're going to do. So 25 days until this maneuver node. Let's get rid of Mech Jeb. Bring up Kerbal alarm clock. What are we at for Horizons? Let's delete this alarm. Add a new one. Next maneuver node. Let's give it about 20 minutes of lead time. Add alarm. There we go. So Horizons is actually our next Kerbal alarm clock. And we don't have much going on between now and then, if anything at all. So maybe we'll just go ahead and warp on in. What do we have? 333 meters per second. And yeah, we don't know if these tanks are even going to work. So this mission might all be for naught. How many ignitions do we have left on our main engine here? 3. So we use 1 to correct, 2 to capture, 3 to plane change, and then we should be in pretty good shape. If everything goes real well, which that's kind of hit or miss. Let's just be honest here. How's our electric charge? We are charging and topped. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get our asses to Venus. And we have in fact made Venus SOI change. And we do have a reaction wheel on this vessel also, so we can go ahead and angle ourselves in without spending any fuel. Quite fantastic. I really regret that this maneuver has to be 146 meters per second, which is what it's saying we have left. Oh, boil off, stupid. Where do we have any of this magical? Yeah, we lost a whole lot of liquid oxygen. Oh, that sucks real bad. Oh, RCS is not responding. Did we empty that? No, I locked it. Yeah. We have a lot left. There's that tank and that tank. I did do a consolidation. I think I did that on the live show. So we'll go ahead and open these up. Tell flight computer to hold the node. And just run through it. I guess we'll say now because it's going to burn off. So we might as well just go ahead and use that 144 meters per second. We have like 3 hours though. Yeah, it says we can do that in 11 seconds. So here's what I should be doing instead. Yeah, this is all of the tank that we have left. We're going to consolidate it into smaller tanks and then bleed off the excess kerosene. Because I would like to keep a effective ratio. All right. That's done. We've cleared that stage. We can probably go ahead and stage off our transfer now. So let's take a quick save. And staging. Not showing it up on flight computer. Let's double. Yeah, okay, stage. 4 minutes, though. That should be separation and activation. Let's see how well this works out for us. Alright. I mean, yeah, it took twice. These don't have a gimbal anyway, so we'll just, yeah, now we have to clear flight computer, do this again. That was that engine. Let's go ahead and leave these up so that I can make sure I got all of them. 2. That should be 7. So let's run through and make sure all of those get their command. Awesome. And we have a Delta V figure. That, yes. Fantastic. 2 engines active. Number 3. Large gap between number 5, number 6, and number 7. Excellent. That worked out really well. Let's close all these out. We don't need them anymore. Okay, reaction wheel still good. Capture stage RCS to arm. 4.98 minutes. How long do we have until we need to make our maneuver? Transfer stage seems to have taken all the nodes with it. Bring it down a little bit more. 523 meters per second. Create node. Not bad. Oh, only 174.8 meters per second. That's even better than we plotted for previously. I'll take it. All right, and let's add an alarm. We should have instantaneous control. 17 minutes of runtime on this little guy. We'll give ourselves 10 minutes of lead. Add alarm. This is Horizons, correct? Yes. So we don't need this 2-hour alarm. We already got it. Venera 17 in 10 hours has to make its correction. Venus Orbital Lab is still a day away. And then Horizons, which we need to go rename real quick. We're going to play the You Can't Click on Me game. That's cool. Are we... We are not in Time Warp. Oh, rename vessel. I just overlooked it. We'll just go with Prime so that we can discern it from the capture stage, which should now be listed as debris. Why is Atmospheric Autopilot still open? That's been that way this whole time. Probably like 3 episodes at this point. Excellent work. Okay, and so now we will jump back to Venera 17. Jump to ship. And I sped a little bit of this up because it turns out we did not need to really jump to Venera 17. It was an old alarm clock from an old node. As you see, we are still way on course here and got lots of time. So our next actual maneuver is for our Venus Orbital Lab. So we'll jump out there real quick and get some business handled. Bingo whoopee. Alright, let's get rid of that. Let's bring out Flight Computer just so I can toggle stage once and see if it activates our engine. I will shoot myself in the face right now if it separates that stage. I would really like a gimbal, is really what's happening here. Oh no, I don't need to have the fuel unlocked before I activate the engine. I just need to have it unlocked before I throttle up. Excellent work. Okay, so what happens in a day? We make our change of SOI, and then we can make our correction. Let's go ahead and focus view here on Venus. Make sure, yeah, we're coming in kind of like that-ish, perhaps, and we're just going to tip our hands down a little bit. Is that really all that correction is about? Yeah, 4.8 meters per second. This should be relatively painless. Let's go ahead and open up our primary tanks here and angle in most laboriously. Go ahead and open up the station thruster ports. Do I still have fuel tanks down here somewhere? I do. That's fantastic. Periaps is 196 kilometers already just from making this maneuver node. What are we trying to... Oh, we're trying to raise our periapsis. That's right, because we jettisoned a stage into Venus, and it looks like it's going to dispose of itself relatively cleanly. I would just like a little more clearance on that atmosphere. Yeah, about, let's go for 250. That seems like a good altitude for absolutely no apparent reason whatsoever. There we go. We'll kill that. We'll go lock our tanks, because this thing has a mind of its own. And lock you also, because you're just insane. That's why. And then we'll add maneuver. Oh man, everything's coming in at all kinds of crazy angles. And maneuver to capture 771 meters per second in 1 day and 14 hours. Perfect. Add alarm. Lead time 15 minutes. Venus Orbital Lab. Let's get rid of that alarm first. Add alarm. Horizons Probe 9 hours. Charlie Resupply 18 hours. Venus Orbital Lab 1 day. Venera 17 2 days. Clarkson Alpha 2 days 16 hours. 10-hour gap there. Jeez. All right. Venera Horizons. Jump to ship. All right. Let's kill that and let's take a look at our map view. Yeah, that is actually our orbital insertion maneuver, 573 meters per second. Let's kill flight computer, reopen flight computer. We'll come out of warp with about an hour to spare, and then we'll activate our RCS. Good. Let's verify. Excellent. We do have RCS control. 40 minutes until capture burn. Alright, we have just passed the 1 minute mark. We're going to start ullaging in our engines here. Oh, awesome. And ignition. I'm not holding the H key. It looks like it's holding the thrusters open on its own, so I'm assuming that this is a design choice from Polaris Red Star and SimG, who built this craft originally. As you could tell, because it just looks phenomenal. So no connection currently with Earth, so Mission Control is just going to have to sit around and wait to see if this burn actually worked. Our ApoApps is still reading negative, so we'll just let that go until we have a non-negative number indicating that we have captured into an actual orbit. We can also watch our eccentricity here. Any number less than 1 indicates a captured orbit. There's our camera change indicating capture. Yeah, .994. We're just going to let this node run its course because reasons. I would like a less than 60 or 50 day orbit or so. So this last 20 or so meters per second is really inconsequential. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shut down. 0.4 meters per second. I'll take that. And our next maneuver node should be our inclination change. Yep, way the hell out there at 174.8 meters per second in 12 days. Excellent. That buys us lots and lots and lots of time. So we'll give ourselves probably 10 minutes of lead time at alarm. And so it looks like 9 hours from now, we've got Harmonia Resupply Charlie. So excellent. Our orbital insertion for Venus Horizons has been a success. That's awesome. So that is our first step in establishing a comms network here at Venus. And man, we have just so much crap coming in here. Holy shnikes, just look at all these dumb lines. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Yeah, okay. Harmonia Resupply Charlie, 9 hours. Jump to ship. Alright, let's see where we're at here. And yeah, that is a inconsequential node indicating what it would take to capture, which is not a whole lot. But we have a heat shield for these sorts of things, and I probably should have paid attention to this a whole lot sooner, because that's our lab coming in way the hell over here on this orbital track. This is the resupply pod for it coming in on this orbital track. At least they're both somewhat polar. Maybe getting them to meet up will be less of a challenge, but we need to get this resupply pod down. I'll say the last one needed to bleed off a lot more speed, and about 90 kilometers or so was its desirable altitude. I'm thinking that we only need to shed less than 1 kilometer per second. So 145 is our typical. We are massing probably 80 tons. So we're going to try for right around 100 or so. So the resupply pod will angle itself in and then light its AJ-10 to bring that periapsis down to my best guesstimation on what will capture us successfully and not burn up and die. So we'll plot the node there and get a loose guess on how much speed we need to shut off, warp in a little bit further, and then set up our flight computer to do our solar panel and comms retraction, and then redeploy on the other side before we'll warp in a little further, get ourselves angled to prograde, and be confronted with heat warnings. Oh, heat warnings. Oh yeah. We need to do this. Sorry, it was just struts. After all. Oh boy. 104 kilometers. Super, super toasty. We have bled off a not insignificant portion of Delta V. We're about halfway there, and it looks like we're about to eclipse our periapsis. Anytime now, come on. Is that a blader holding out? Really, really well. And we're on the way back up. Come on, capture. Come on, capture. Yes! Yes! There's capture. Please don't deorbit. Please don't deorbit. Please don't deorbit. I think that is like a bare minimum figure. We are up to 100 kilometers. Actual climbing at about 170 meters per second, according to this newfangled vertical speed indicator. Keep going. Oh boy. Can we roll and get to a position where I can alter? Maybe we can get some lift off of this thing. Alright, we are coming out of the frying pan. 108, 109. 70 million meter apogee. That is perfectly acceptable. No longer getting heating effects. And we are captured. Holy crap. 200 meters per second or so shy of goal. And by shy, I mean that's how much we overshot. So, but we're still in really good shape, all things considered. Hooah! I'll take it. Let's just get clear of the atmosphere, and then we'll suss out what we're going to do next. So we will warp on out to our equipment deployment, solar panels and comms, make a node to adjust our periapsis, and then be switching back to Venus Orbital Lab. Alright, here we go. We can kill that alarm. 23 hours until we need to pay attention to Venera 17. That might have to wait. Let's take a look at our map view. And I don't know which resupply pod that is. That is probably our most recent one. So set as target. What is our inclination difference? Dang it. Negative 100 degrees. That means it is... I mean, oh yeah, we're coming in... I know we're coming in over the top. They are also coming in over the top, so... Maybe. It looks like that difference right there means that we should have a fairly good place for the pod to correct itself. We'll figure that out when we get there. There's entirely too much going on right now. So, 6 hours. Let's go ahead and ride this on in. I mean, it's about 1 kilometer per second. We should have 3 in less than 8 minutes runtime. Let's just get some shit done. Oh, okay. 3 minutes out. Come on. Unlock. Unlock. RCS, get angled in. Oh, I totally overshot. At least we have connection with Earth. I'm sure that's a thing. I should have set up some science to do sciencing. Nah, space just above. I should have run that before. Dang it. Good light on our ELE. And we are burning. Please don't fail. There's our camera change indicating capture. Alright, we're going to go ahead and shut down. Kill that node. Let's see what we're looking at here. Come on, KSP. It's an orbit. I mean, it's not particularly pretty, but it is an orbit, and our supply pod is offset from it by quite a ridiculous margin. But we'll see what that correction looks like, and then we'll probably bring the orbit of the station down once we have a more clear idea of what it is we're dealing with. I mean, that's our other resupply, and that's even worse. Just to be honest. Terrible. We can't put a crew on it if we can't bring life support to it. So that's kind of going to be a mission critical step. But this has lots of Delta V left in it. I don't know what we're... Oh, yeah, our science. Get rid of you, flight computer. nothing. The surface looks really close from here. That's good. So I forgot we're going to run a bunch of... Hey, there we go. Now we're getting some pay dirt. Yes. We can't put anything in the lab because it is not currently occupied. But we can keep all of this stuff. Yeah. Requires a crew. Requires a crew. Cannot perform experiment while stowed. That is interesting. Alright, well, we can reset this 0 science, 40 science, and we can transmit that home. So multi-spectral analysis on space just above Venus's Midlands. You know what? Yeah, we're going to radio some of this stuff home. We'll get the copies to put in the lab later, because I'm sure there will be copies. Man, that's 2.5 science for film canister if we radio it in, but 100 for recovery. We can probably get like double that from the lab. And we only get like 5. So you know what? We'll keep that one. We'll keep the solar particle experiment. Orbital telescope we've done. 40 science for the multispectral scan. Let's radio that in. I did not see that number go up. Great. Reset, 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 reset. Yeah, we'll keep the biological sample. Reset, reset. I did not see that number go up, and I'm a little dismayed if that was a thing or not. Of course, should we actually get a crew here, we can redo all of those, and of course I did not bring any tools. That's what I wanted to verify. Electric charge, topped and full. So let's get this fully into the daylight just to make sure. There she is in all of her glory, our finally successfully deployed crewed Venus orbital outpost, or Venus orbital research lab, however you want to quantify it. So on to the point of this whole endeavor. This station needs a name, and so that's where I turn it over to you, dear viewer. If you have a suggestion for a name for our Venus orbital station, please do leave it for me in the comments below. When we come out to address this inclination issue and get a supply pod out to this silly thing, we will christen it with a name, probably before the crew gets here, just because the crew's not going to go if we can't get a supply pod to it right away, so it might be another window. I just want to prepare you for the inevitable disappointment that is my terrible ability to plan things. But at least this one made it here successfully. Third time's a charm. So, yes. Oh, no, not F3, F2. That's what I meant to hit. Because it looks just so much better when it's actually in orbit. Wouldn't you agree? Anyway. Leave your name suggestions for me down in the comments below. That's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.